Hello learners, welcome to this video lesson. Today we are going to discuss one of the very pertinent topic on your online course. Today's title of our discussion is Mode and its Uses. Before starting our discussion, let me to introduce myself. I, Dr. Niradhar De, faculty member, School of Education, Indira Gandhi National Open University. Welcome you all to this video lesson. So friends, presently we are in the 13th module of your online course. We are also in the 13th week, and in this 13th week we are studying the module, that is 13th module, and title of this module is Measures of Central Tendency. Under this module, three major teaching points are there, and we have developed three video tutorials of this module. First is mean and its uses. We have already discussed in our first video program, and the second video lesson is median and its uses. We have also discussed median and its uses in our next video lesson. And the last video lesson of this module, that is mode and its uses. So today we are going to discuss, we are going to understand the concept of mode and how to compute mode, how to calculate mode, and how to analyze and interpret the results that you will get by using the statistics, that is mode, and what is the uses and limitation of mode. So friends, before going through detail about today's topic, let me to focus upon the learning outcomes of today's video lesson. After going through this video lesson, at the same time, after going through the e-content which is given in your module, in your 13th module, you will be able to explain the concept of mode as a measures of central tendency. Further, you will be able to compute mode from ungrouped and grouped data and to interpret it. You have to calculate the mode, and both in group data as well as in the ungrouped data, and you have to analyze and interpret the result. Further, you will be able to discuss the uses and limitations of mode as a measures of central tendency in school-based assessment. As a teacher, when you are engaging yourself in the school-based assessment, where to use the mode, what type of data you have, then accordingly where you have to use the mode. That understanding you will also get from this video lesson. Now let us go forward to understand about the concept of measures of central tendency. I have already discussed in my earlier two video lessons when I was discussing about the concept of mean, then further about the concept of median. First of all, the most common statistics that we use in schools in the measures of central tendency for analyzing and interpreting scores of the students. So, measures of central tendency is the most common statistics that we use, because if we have a group of students, and if we want to know the individual performance of the students in that group, and if we want to compare individual performance with the group performance, so we should calculate the average values or the central tendency of the group. Okay, so that may be mean or median or the mode. Then further we can compare the individual score with the average score, with the central tendency, whether the individual score is the above average students or the below average students. So that's why, so far as school-based assessment is concerned, measures of central tendency statistics is highly used. Measures of central tendency is the central value of the group. So you have a group, you are teaching to that group, and you have administered certain tests. So that's why you can find out the central value. You can find out the average score of that group. Then further, central value helps us to compare individual score with the group score and group score with the group score. So here also Another I have already discussed, and another important thing is you can compare individual score with the group score, and at the same time you can also compare average score in a group with the average score another group. It can be done across the subjects, or it can also be done across the sections or across the classes also. So that you can do. Further, to understand measures of central tendency MC2, we can say that we use measures of central tendency for making inter and intra-group comparison. I have already said that within the group we can compare the result of the students by using the statistics of measures of central tendency, and among the groups also we can do within different sections, within different class, and within different schools also. Further, I have already discussed earlier, and just to recapitulate the scales of measurement and measures of central tendency. As you know that median is used when the data is in ordinal scale, and mean is used when the data is in equal interval scale. But we can use mode when the data is in nominal scale. That means we have just classified the data, and we have just given a number to the data. Okay, and further, when it is not possible to provide them or to arrange them in a order, either in ascending order or in descending order, or when it is not possible to present the data in equal interval scale, just like in different class intervals, just like 10 to 20 is a class, 20 to 30 is a class, 30 to 40 is a class interval, and here all these class intervals are equal interval. Okay, so you will find that the size of the class is equal. There we can use the mean, but so far as the statistics or the measures of central tendency, that is mode, is concerned, only we can use mode when the data is presented or when there is the possibility of interpretation of the data in nominal scale. Okay, and we can just have the frequencies of different score or frequencies of different item. So by considering the frequencies, that how many numbers an item occurs, how many numbers a particular score occurs. So by going through the score and its frequencies, we can calculate the mode which is possible in nominal scale. Friends, now let us go forward to understand about what are the different measures of central tendency. I have already said in earlier lessons that mean is a measure of central tendency, median is also a measure of central tendency, and mode is also a measure of central tendency. But mean is called as the most accurate measures of central tendency, as each and every individual scores are given equal weightage, equal importance for calculating the calculating the mean. Whereas so far as median is concerned, we can say that median is the midpoint. This is not simply a score. Median is the midpoint of the distribution, below and above which 50% of the cases lie, below and above which 50% of the item lie. So that's why median doesn't represent a score, rather we can say it is the midpoint. It is the midpoint of the distribution, and that equally makes the distribution into two halves, okay, two equal parts, 50% above the median point and 50% below the median point. And so far as mode is concerned, now let us try to understand the concept of mode. First of all, mode as a measure of central tendency is used when the data is in nominal scale. I have already discussed that when the data is only in a nominal scale, we have classified the data in terms of rural and urban, in terms of different categories, in terms of different groups, boys and girls, and we have just assigned the figures, okay, assigned the frequencies, and if only names are given and frequencies have been counted, then you can use the measures of central tendency, that is the mode, because the data that are given, that is possible to interpret only in the nominal scale. Further, mode is simply defined as the most frequently occurred item or score in the series. So this is the definition of the mode. We can say that mode is simply defined as the most frequent occurred item or score in the series. Let in a series number of scores are there. How to find out the mode further we will discuss, but here let me to explain it. Let in a group of there is a group, many students are there, and we have administered a test and we have evaluated their copies and we have assigned a score. Let 30, 40, 50, 32, 35, 65, 75 accordingly. Then further what we can do, there is the possibility that more than one students can score a single score in that group. Let 4 students have secured 40, 3 students have secured 55. Then accordingly what you have to do, you have to find out the frequencies of the score. How many times a score has been occurred, okay? And mode is that score that occurs most frequently. It means the highest frequency score will be the mode. So that's why mode is simply defined as the most frequently occurred item or score in the series. And further we can say that mode is not an accurate or reliable measure of central tendency, as when we calculate mode, we are not focusing upon the scores, okay? So rather we are just focusing upon their numbers, how many times a particular score has occurred. So that's why it is not like mean. Mean is called as the most accurate measures of central tendency, as it gives importance to each and every individual score, but that doesn't happen with mode. And further we can say that there is the possibility of more than one modes in a distribution. Let there is a series, let there is a distribution. In a distribution there is the possibility of more than one mode. We will further discuss that how more than one mode is possible in a distribution or in a series. Just connecting to it, we can say that there may be a bimodal or a trimodal class. Bimodal and trimodal class. Try to understand what is a bimodal class and what is a trimodal class. Bi means 2, tri means 3. So here it means in a distribution when 2 modes are there, we can say that that's a bimodal class. When 3 modes are there, we can say that it is a trimodal class. It means in a distribution, let particular score, the frequencies of 2 particular score is same and that is highest. Just like let 55 occurs 4 times, at the same time 52 is also occurred 4 times. That means the frequency of 52 and 45 is the same. So that's why we can say that in that distribution 2 modes are there. So that distribution we can say that it is a bimodal class because 2 modes are there. Then accordingly trimodal class. So what I mean to say, there is the possibility of more than one modes in a distribution, okay? Further, it is possible that a distribution may have more than one modes, but there exists only one median and one mean in a distribution. So far as median and mean is concerned, you will find only single mean in a distribution or single median in a distribution, but there is the possibility of getting more than one mode in a distribution. Next, let us try to understand that how to calculate mode from ungrouped data, and further we will also understand that how to calculate mode from group data. First, let us focus upon calculation of mode for ungrouped data. Calculation of mode in an ungrouped data is called as an empirical or crude mode. Try to understand, when you are calculating mode in an ungrouped data, we can say that that is the empirical mode or that is the crude mode. Okay, so try to understand the alternate terms that we use for calculating mode in ungrouped data. Let us try to understand with an example. Here you see one example has given, that is scores in a group. In a group you see 15 scores are there. N means total number of the cases or N means total number of the scores. So here total number of the scores is 15. And the scores are just like 30, 32, 41, 45, 40, 32, again 40, 30, 45, 49, 57, 59, 60, 59, 45 and 65. So here 15 scores are there. Total number of scores are here 15. We have to calculate the mode. This is an ungrouped data because these scores are a raw score. This is not a group score. So try to understand that how to calculate. So what you can do, first you write the scores without a repetition. That means if there is a repetition in the distribution a single score, you need not to write the same score again and again. So just like here, without a repetition, total number of scores were 15. I have just mentioned 30, 32, 40, 41, 45, 49, 57, 59, 60 and 65. Okay. And further in the second column, you see, I have just mentioned the frequencies. How many times that score has occurred? Just like the score 30, the frequency of 30 is 1, frequency of 32 is 2, 40 is 2, 41 is 1, then frequency of 45 is 3, then 49 is 1, 57 is 1, 49 is 2, 60 is 1 and 65 is 1. So here you see how to calculate mode in ungrouped data. Simply you have to go through the definition that we have already discussed. Mode is called as the most frequent item or a score of the distribution. Here you see the most frequent item or score of the distribution is 45 because the frequency of 45 is 3, and in all other cases you will find that the frequency is either 1 or 2. The highest frequency is here 3. So that's why we can say that mode of the distribution is 45. Now let us go forward to understand that how to calculate mode in group data. Group data means when the data is given in class interval orders. In terms of class interval, different class interval is given just like 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and in every class frequencies are also given. So how to calculate in equal interval scale? Friends, calculation of mode in group data is called as the true mode, but calculation of mode in ungrouped data is called as crude mode or empirical mode, but here it is called as the true mode. Mode in group data can be calculated by employing two methods. One is the direct method and other is the indirect method. So friends, now let us first understand that how to calculate mode in group data by using the indirect method. So formula of mode in indirect method is, you see, mode is equal to 3 into median minus 2 into mean. That's called as 3 median minus 2 mean. It is called as indirect method because directly we are not calculating the mode. First we are calculating the median, then we are calculating the mean, then further we are multiplying 3 with the median, then we are multiplying 2 with the mean, then we are just subtracting it. So that is 3 into median minus 2 into mean. So in this way we can calculate a mode. And the formula of mode in direct method, that is mode is equal to L plus L is the lower limit plus F1 minus F0. Okay, frequency F1 F1 is the frequency of the modal class, then F0, that is frequency preceding the modal class, then F2 is there, F2 is frequency succeeding the modal class, into Ci. Ci is the size of the class, that's the interval of the class. Let 10 to 20, 10 to 19, 20 to 29. So here interval is 10. So the formula is L plus F1 minus F0 upon 2 into F1 minus F0 minus F2 into Ci, that's class interval. So you can calculate mode by using this in group data by using these two formula, indirect method formula and direct method formula. Now let us understand about by using certain example that how to calculate mode by using the indirect method. So here you see in indirect method class intervals are given, just like 90 to 99, 80 to 89, accordingly 10 to 19. So here 9 class intervals are given and frequencies are also given: 2, 3, 4, 7, 10, 6, 5, 2 and 1. In every classes frequencies are given. By using this data, this group data, how we can calculate mode in indirect method. In indirect method, what you have to do, the formula is 3 median minus 2 mean. That means first you have to calculate the median, then you have to calculate the mean, then further you have to multiply 3 with the median and 2 with the mean, then you have to subtract it. Here you see in the first column, class interval is given. It starts from 90 to 99 and it ends to 10 to 19. Then the second column, what you have to do, you have to find out the midpoint of every class interval. Just like 90 to 99, so that is 90 plus 99 by 2, that is 94.5. Then midpoint of 80 to 89, 80, that is the lower limit, 89 is the upper limit. 80 plus 89 by 2, that is 84.5. Accordingly, you can calculate the midpoint. Okay, and here after calculating the midpoint, frequency is already given. You can just write down the frequencies: 2, 3, 4, 7, 10, 6, 5, 2 and 1. Total number of the cases or total number of the frequencies is 40 here. Then after calculating the frequencies, the further work is to find out the cumulative frequency, because you have to find out or you have to calculate the median as well as the mean by using group data method. So in cumulative frequency, you see it will start from the frequency of the lowest class, that is 10 to 19, frequency is 1 here. So cumulative frequency will also 1. Then you have to add the cumulative frequency will be add with the succeeding class frequency, just like 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 5 is 8, 5 plus 8 plus 5 is 6 is 14, 14 plus 10 is 24, plus 7 is 31 accordingly. So here we have calculated the cumulative frequency, and the last cumulative frequency, that is 40, which will equivalent with the total number of cases. And if it is not equivalent, it means you have made certain error. Then deviation, how to calculate deviation? That means here the deviation of the scores from the mean, just like you can calculate it from the assumed mean. Midpoint is 54.5. So here that is x minus am by ci. X is 54.5 minus am is again assumed mean 54.5 divided by size of the class is 10. So 54.5 minus 54.5 is 0. 0 divided by 10 is 0. Then accordingly for the second class, just like 64.5 minus 54.5 is 10. 10 divided by ci is also 10. So 10 divided by 10 is 1. So accordingly deviations are calculated in each class intervals. So it will start from 0, and the classes which are above the or which are succeeding, the deviations will be +1, +2, +3, and the classes which are preceding the median class, we can say that the deviation will be -1, -2, -3 and -4 accordingly. Then further what you have to do, you have to multiply deviation with the frequency or frequency with the deviation, just like 2 into 4 is 8, 3 into 3 is 9, 4 into 2 is 8, 7 into 1 is 7 accordingly. Then after doing this, you have to find out summation of FD, that is 6, and total number of cases is here 40. So in one table we have calculated the required values for calculating median as well as mean, because indirectly we have to reach at the mode by using the value of median and the value of mean. So here you see the formula median, first L plus n by 2 minus cumulative frequency below the median class upon frequency of the median class into ci, size of the class interval. So n by 2, that is the median class, n by 2, n is 40, total number of the cases by 2 is 20. So 20th item falls in the class of, here you can say 20th item falls in the class of 50 to 59. So the lower limit of that class is 49.5. So that's why L is 49.5. Cumulative frequency below the median class, that is 14. So here you see it is 14. Then further, frequency of the median class is 10, just like here it is frequency of the median class. Then size of the class interval is 10, just like here the classes are 92, 99, 82, 89. So here size is 10. So these are the values of the formula in the median. Then just put the value just like L is 49.5 plus n by 2 is 20 minus cumulative frequency below the median class is 14, then frequency of the median class is 10 into 10. So 49.5 plus 6 by 10 into 10, that is 49.5 plus 6 is 55.5 is the median. Then accordingly, we have already discussed in our first video lesson how to calculate mean in assumed mean method. So here you see, to calculate the mean, the formula is AM plus summation of FD by N into CI. AM is the assumed mean plus summation of FD, summation of frequency into deviation. Already we have calculated in the table. Then divided by N. N is called as the total number of cases, that is 40. Then CI, size of the class. So size of the class is already decided, that is 10. And assumed mean class, how to find out the assumed mean class? The class having highest frequency, that class is assumed as the assumed mean class. Just like here you see the class, the highest frequency is 10 here, and that is in the class that is 50 to 59. The midpoint of this class 50 to 59, that is 54.5 is the assumed mean. Accordingly, we can just put the values in the assumed mean formula, just like assumed mean is 54.5. This is the midpoint of that class where mean is falling. Total number of cases are 40, size of the class is 10, and summation of FD is equal to 6. Just put these values, 54.5 plus 6 by 40 into 10, 54.5 plus 1.5. So here you can just cut 10 with 40, that is 4, 6 by 4 is 1.5. Then to add 54.5 with 1.5, that is 56. So mean is here 56 by assumed mean method, but we have to calculate the mode. So that's why mode is 3 into median minus 2 into mean. So we have calculated the median, that is 55.5. We have also calculated the mean, that is 56. So now multiply 3 with the median and 2 with the mean and subtract it. So here 166.5 minus 112, that is 54.5. So friends, here mode in indirect method is 54.5. Then further, mode in direct method, here you see the formula. Mode is L plus F1 minus F0 upon 2 into F1 minus F0 minus F2 into CI, size of the class. So L is lower limit of the modal class, CI size of the class, it is the size of the class interval, F1 is frequency of the modal class, F0 is frequency of the class preceding the modal class, then F2 frequency of the class that succeeding the modal class. Let us try to understand with one example. So here you see an example has been taken, a group data example, and certain frequencies are given. So here you see modal class is 50 to 59, as highest frequency occur in this class. Okay, the highest frequency is here 10. So that's why what you have to do, the frequency of the modal class will be the F1, and frequency above the modal class, that's just above the modal class, that's called as the F2, frequency of the succeeding of the modal class, and the frequencies of the preceding of the modal class just below the modal class, just like here the frequency of the class 40 to 49 is 6. So 6 will be the F0, and total number of cases is here 40. So now stepwise you can do first identification of the modal class. You have to find out the class having highest frequency, that will be the modal class, just like here 50 to 59. Then find out the lower limit of the modal class, just like minus 0.5 from the lower class, that is 50 minus 0.5 is 49.5. Then calculation of F1 is the frequency of the modal class. Frequency of the modal class is here 10, and F0 is frequency of the preceding of the modal class, and F2 is frequency of the proceeding of the modal class, that is 7, and size of the class is 10. Now just use these values in the calculation of mode, just like lower limit is 49.5 plus 10 minus 6 divided by 2 into 10 minus 6 minus 7, that is minus F0 minus Fd before 2 into F1 into Ci. So you just simplify it, you will find the mode is that is 57.21. Then now let us focus upon the use of mode. Mode is used when it requires to find the most frequently occurred item as the measures of central tendency, when a quick and approximate measures of central tendency is required, and when data is incomplete and skewed, when data is not normally distributed, and when data is in nominal scale, you can use the mode. And the limitations are just like mode can only be used as a rough estimate of measures of central tendency. It can never be an accurate measures of central tendency. There may be possibility of more than one mode, as I have already said that there may be a bimodal class or a trimodal class, but so far as mean and median is concerned, every distribution is having only a single mean and a single median, but many modes can be possible. Further, in case all observations or scores in a group are different or there is no repetition of scores, it is difficult to get the mode. It means if the frequency of every score is same, so you can say that there is a single mode, and which one is the mode? It's very difficult to find out. Mode is only a crude measure which can be of value when a quick and rough estimate of central tendency is required. If you want to measure, do it quickly, you can use the mode. Otherwise, it is not the exact or the true measures of central tendency. Just to recapitulate, today we discussed the concept of mode, and we have also discussed about how to calculate mode in ungrouped data as well as in the group data. We have also discussed the crude mode and the true mode, how to calculate by using indirect method as well as direct method. And we have also discussed the use of mode as well as the limitations of mode. And for further queries, you can write to me niradhar@ignou.ac.in. You can make me a telephone call. My intercom is 2994. You can visit my Facebook, YouTube and Twitter handle. You will find many such video lessons. Thank you.